Hey guys, so I need to repair the weather stripping on my car, and I figured maybe other people might want to know how to do this. And originally, the manufacturer was going to bill me about $125, $150 for the labor to do this, and in reality, it's a pretty cheap fix. So I figured I'd just do it myself. Yeah, I took my car in for service and I was like, oh yeah, by the way, the weather stripping is kind of coming undone on one of the doors. And they said, oh yeah, like we can do it for you, but the labor is going to cost you, more than if you just did it yourself. It might cost you, significantly less. So I figured, okay, I'll do it myself, buy all the necessary equipment, and then save myself some money. So I figured I'd share this with you guys, and hopefully we'll all be able to learn together. So if you aren't aware, the weather stripping is this rubber tubing that goes along the door to prevent water from leaking inside the car. And if you notice, it's kind of just loosely hanging here with this sort of like rubber insert that literally has just been like keeping the two ends together, and it's just been dangling loosely. So what I've bought here is I bought two things from AutoZone yesterday. We have this Motzenbocher's lift-off sticker tape and adhesive remover designed to get the old stuff off, which I don't know if you guys are able to see this, but there's some black residue here along the door that if we were to just bond it to that, the weather stripping would just be bonded to the old adhesive. It wouldn't be bonded to the door itself. So the goal is to remove that, scrape it clean as best as possible, and then have the weather stripping bonded back to the door itself. So first things first, let's just go ahead, spray this old residue. Trying to get it as soaked in as possible. And then what I'm also going to do is just spray it on the weather stripping itself. There we go. And then this one. Ugh. All right. So we'll let that sit for a little bit, and then we'll get to scraping. All right. So as our trusty scraper, we're going to use the good old Costco card here. I want to use something that's soft, like plastic, because if you use a metal knife or scalpel or something like that, you're likely to actually gouge out the paint from your door, which obviously nobody wants or needs. So now that that adhesive remover's been sitting for about 2 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and start just giving it a little scrape here. You can see it's coming off quite nicely. I'm going to take a little bit of elbow work here. Yeah, it's coming off bit by bit, but it's not all coming off in one piece. Just take some time, be patient with it. You can see once that black rubber adhesive / residue comes off, we have just bare paint, and that is what we want to bind the weather stripping back to. This last bit off right here, and we'll be in business. All right, now last we'll just scrape off any that may be sitting on here. Get it nice and smooth for the application of the new adhesive. So now for our adhesive, we have Super Weather Strip Adhesive by Permatex. So what we're going to want to do, the instructions say, clean and dry all surfaces thoroughly. Use an abrasive to remove any powdery mold release from new weather stripping. Apply thin, even film to both surfaces. Let dry for at least 10 minutes to allow complete evaporation of solvents. Then bond immediately. Tightly cap tube after use. All right, so apply a thin, even film to both surfaces. Let's go ahead and break the seal here. All right, wow, that came out quick. It's a strong smell too. Yeah, make sure you're wearing gloves because you do not want to get this stuff on your skin if you can avoid it. All right, so we're just gonna run this along here. Let that sit for a bit. And then same to this side. All right, and I don't know that I should really put it in here, given that I don't see any from the factory. So I'm assuming there's a reason they didn't put it in this little insert that goes inside the tubing. So I'm just gonna leave it on the actual part that touches the door, but I'm not gonna put it on the inside of the tubing. So now we'll go ahead and just run it up here, right along the line that was there before. Okay. Apply a thin, even film to both surfaces. Let dry for at least 10 minutes to allow complete evaporation of solvents, then bond immediately. So now that the adhesive has had some time to settle, the solvents dry out a little bit, we're gonna go ahead and try to stick this thing back together. We're gonna make sure that little insert is nicely connecting both ends, and then we're just gonna nicely line it up. I'm gonna go in from further up the door just to make sure there's no like gaps between the adhesive and the door and that all the slack is pulled out. Oh wow, yeah, it's already really snug. That's awesome, beautiful. All right, so I'm just gonna let this sit for a few minutes, and then I'll just open and close the door a few times, make sure that it's actually attached nice and snug, and then call it a day. All right, well, hopefully that helped educate you guys on how you can do this repair yourself. In total, both of these products cost me, I think, $15 or so. It was like 10 and 5. So that's a lot cheaper than like 125 bucks. All right, guys. So just following up after our application, I've let it sit for about 10 minutes or so. And you can see this thing is nice and snugly bonded here. And so what I'm gonna do now is just open and close the door a few times. Make sure it's still in place. So before, what was happening is it would hang loosely and literally stick out the bottom here when I would close the door, and it looked horrible. So now that it's nice and snug, it seems to be staying in place. Let's just double check. You can see it's drooping a little bit, but I can always reapply adhesive and go through this process again if it's undone. But yeah, I mean, this is my first attempt at it, so I'm sure your mileage may vary in terms of how well it sticks if you're new to this. But thank you guys so much for watching. And I hope that's able to solve any weather strip problems you guys may have. Thank you.